Hello, dear zodiac sign Libra. What if I told you that something right under your bed, right where you rest your soul each night, is quietly draining your energy, clouding your thoughts, and silently pulling you away from your luck and light? This is not just a reading. It's a warning. And it's a wake-up call. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is your deep spiritual horoscope for Libra, and no, it is not a coincidence that you've landed here today. Something larger is unfolding behind the curtain of your everyday life. Whether you stumbled upon this video or have been searching for a sign, the truth is, the sign has been searching for you. Libra, your energy is special. You are the keeper of balance. The one who tries to make everything beautiful, fair, and calm, even if that means sacrificing parts of yourself in silence. But sometimes, the more we try to hold peace outside, the more chaos finds its way inside. That chaos might not look like shouting or stormy days. It might be as subtle as a sleepless night, a plant wilting in your room without reason, a heavy feeling in your chest when you walk into your own space. And yes, it might be something seemingly harmless, tucked beneath your bed, absorbing the very essence of your harmony. Let's get real, your soul knows something feels off. You may have dismissed it as stress or fatigue. But what if your space has absorbed energy that was never meant to stay? What if your rest, your recharge, is being compromised by energy that doesn't even belong to you? That's what we'll uncover today. And more importantly, I'll guide you in how to cleanse it, not with fear, but with calm, empowered action. Before we dive deeper into the ritual, the signs, and the sacred numbers that surround you, let me take a moment to say this from the bottom of my heart: thank you for being here. Your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, they mean everything. Every small action you take helps this channel grow into a sacred space that reaches others just like you, people seeking truth, healing, and quiet transformation. You are part of something bigger, and your energy matters more than you know. So, dear Libra, please stay with me until the very end. Trust me, the revelation the universe has planned for you today is nothing short of extraordinary. And while I won't quote scripture, I will say this: when you choose to protect your peace, heaven listens. When you reclaim your space, the universe responds. You don't have to beg for balance, you are balance. You only have to remember. So, tell me in the comments, what do you feel pulled to release? And what called you to this reading today? Because if you're seeing this message, it's already begun. Stay close, something sacred is awakening. Sometimes, the most familiar spaces become the ones we overlook until our body and spirit whisper the truth we've ignored. For Libra, whose essence is balance, refinement, and subtle emotional clarity, your bedroom is more than a place to rest. It's your sanctuary. It's where your thoughts slow down enough to be heard. It's where your energy recalibrates after all the give and take of the outside world. But what happens when that sacred space becomes clouded, not by clutter, but by something deeper? Something unseen that slowly chips away at your inner harmony? You may have noticed it in the quiet hours, waking suddenly around 2:22 or 3 a.m. For no clear reason, sensing a heaviness or a silent tension in the room despite its beauty. Maybe you felt eyes on you when no one's there, or found yourself lying awake, not from stress, but from a kind of subtle restlessness that clings to your skin. Perhaps your emotions have begun to swing more sharply than usual, your thoughts feel less grounded, and your inner compass seems off-center, even if life outside looks fine on paper. This is no coincidence. For someone ruled by Venus and deeply affected by the aesthetics and energy of space, your surroundings are never neutral. They're alive with memory, intention, and frequency. And just as Libra governs justice and the scales of rightness, when those scales tip out of alignment even slightly, it echoes in your body, your dreams, and your day-to-day decisions. In tarot, the reverse justice card speaks volumes here. It's not just about imbalance, it's about unseen interference, a distortion in the energy that may come from unspoken words, stagnant emotions, or items that hold on to past versions of you. It could be something as simple as a gift from someone whose energy no longer aligns with yours, or a decorative item that was once chosen in pain rather than peace. When these things settle beneath your bed, the literal foundation of your rest, they become quiet anchors for unrest. Then there's the sacred number 222. For Libra, this isn't just a repeating number on a clock. It's a coded reminder from the universe. Balance must begin again, but this time, on your terms. It's an invitation to revisit what you've been tolerating in silence and to gently, but firmly, reclaim the harmony that is your birthright. Colors like aquamarine, rose quartz pink, and soft moonlit silver are not randomly assigned to you. They hold frequencies that mirror your emotional DNA: calm, compassionate, clear. Surrounding yourself with these tones, whether through fabrics, crystals, or light, activates a resonance of renewal. It's less about design and more about designating your space as sacred as yours. And here's where we connect to something even deeper. Though we won't speak in verses or doctrine, there's an ancient truth whispered across all paths of wisdom: your space reflects your soul. When you defend your peace, not with anger, but with clarity and intention, everything within and around you begins to shift. You don't need to fight. You simply need to choose. Choose to cleanse. Choose to bless. Choose to remove what no longer belongs in your field. You don't need to understand exactly what energy has gathered. Your intuition already knows. Your job isn't to overanalyze, it's to realign. Because in protecting your rest, you protect your clarity. In honoring your space, you honor your spirit. And once that shift happens, once the energy beneath your bed is no longer allowed to speak for your future, you'll begin to sleep more peacefully and rise more fully in your light. It often begins with the smallest things: an old photo frame you never dust off, a decorative piece that no longer feels like you, or a token from someone who hasn't been in your life for a long time. These items, while outwardly harmless, can carry more weight than their physical presence suggests. For Libra, whose natural sensitivity to energy often hides behind grace and aesthetic refinement, such objects may quietly pull you off balance. And because you value peace so deeply, it's easy to delay decisions about what should stay and what must be released. But sometimes, it's in the hesitation and the indecision where our soul begins to fragment. As an air sign ruled by Venus, you have an eye for beauty and a heart that seeks harmony. You give meaning to what others overlook. But when beauty becomes a mask for discomfort, when holding on is less about appreciation and more about obligation, the very harmony you crave begins to distort. The Tarot's Two of Swords appears here for a reason. It doesn't just speak to indecision, it reflects a quiet inner split. The mind tells you to keep things, just in case. But the body, the intuition, the silence in your room, they whisper something else entirely. And for someone as energetically attuned as you, those whispers eventually become waves. Ask yourself with gentleness, do I hold on to this because I cherish the memory, or because I fear the emptiness that might follow its absence? That's not an easy question. Especially for Libra, who often carries the unspoken stories of others, holding on to mementos like silent agreements not to forget. But just as air moves through stillness to cleanse, so too must you allow space to change, evolve, breathe again. We often confuse sentimentality with loyalty. But loyalty should serve your peace, not preserve your past pain. There's wisdom in releasing what once mattered, especially when it no longer nurtures who you're becoming. That doesn't mean erasing your history, it means making room for your healing. And sometimes, what seems like politeness or nostalgia is actually a form of energetic self-neglect. Even in scripture, we're reminded that holding on to what no longer bears fruit only creates stagnation. You don't need to quote divine law to understand this, it's a truth your body already knows. Peace doesn't live in the beautiful object itself, it lives in how that object makes you feel. If something beautiful disrupts your nervous system, if it tightens your breath or casts a shadow in your spirit, then it's no longer serving its purpose in your life. Letting go doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to throw things out in rage or sorrow. Instead, approach it like a quiet act of grace. A thank you. A goodbye. A space reclaimed. You are not rejecting what was, you are honoring what is. And what is, dear Libra, is your right to feel light in your own home again. In this moment, you don't need anyone's permission. You simply need to trust that your intuition is wiser than your politeness. That clarity is worth more than clutter. And that letting go, truly letting go, doesn't take anything from you. It actually returns something you forgot you gave away, your center. So take a breath. Look around your space with fresh eyes. And begin. The more you release what doesn't resonate, the more you'll attract what truly belongs. There's something quietly powerful about choosing to reset your space. Not out of frustration. Not out of drama. But out of care, deep, deliberate care. Libra, for someone like you who seeks beauty, connection, and harmony in every corner of your life, reclaiming your space is an act of sacred responsibility. You've spent so long adjusting yourself to maintain peace with others, but this ritual, this moment, is about making peace with yourself. And that starts by tending to the physical environment that holds you while you rest, think, dream, and heal. Start small, not because small is insignificant, but because small shifts move big energy. When you lift your mattress or clear the space beneath your bed, you're not just tidying, you're inviting energy to move again. Energy stagnates where we avoid looking. And by facing it, you send a message not just to your environment, but to your nervous system: it's safe to let go now. The glass jar with rose water and Himalayan salt isn't just decoration. It's a symbol of purification: water to absorb, salt to protect, intention to seal. Leave it for 3 moonlit nights, and let each night take with it a layer of what no longer serves you. And then, the jasmine incense. Its aroma is soft but steady, just like the kind of clarity you crave. Libra, you don't need intense flames to feel whole again, you need gentle consistency. And sound, especially music tuned to 432 Hz, has a way of realigning you with peace. That frequency doesn't just calm your brainwaves, it echoes with the natural rhythm of the earth. It reminds you that balance isn't something you chase, it's something you remember when you quiet the noise. Whispering your declaration of peace in that moment isn't about casting spells. It's about anchoring your words in your breath, letting your body hear what your mind has been longing to believe. You're allowed to feel safe here. The rose petals, the pink quartz, they aren't just pretty. They mirror your emotional palette. They speak your energetic language. Libra energy thrives where beauty meets softness, where calm meets depth. That's why your healing doesn't come through force, but through elegance, through choosing what feels gentle and true. These elements help your space reflect your intention again, not the memories of who you were holding onto for others, but the clarity of who you're choosing to be for yourself. And that letter, perhaps the most important part. Writing to someone you once tried so hard to balance, someone whose presence cost you more peace than you could admit, is not a blame game. It's closure. You write not to accuse, but to express. Because when we leave words unspoken, they find ways to stay tucked in drawers, pressed between clothes, humming beneath our beds. But when we speak them, when we burn the paper and release the ashes into the sky, we don't lose that story. We transform it. We return it to something that no longer weighs us down. There is a quiet truth woven into all of this. Sometimes peace isn't something we wait for. It's something we must declare. And as one old teaching gently reminds us, when we create order out of love, when we release the need to hold everything together, we make space for what truly matters to arrive. You don't need to carry what you've outgrown, not in your home, and not in your heart. Choosing yourself isn't a betrayal of others. It's a return to the center you've always been searching for. And now, as we begin to feel the shift within your physical space, it's only natural that this wave of renewal continues flowing into the core pillars of your life. After all, energy doesn't stay confined to a corner of your room, it ripples outward, touching your body, your choices, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. For Libra, this integration is essential. Your soul longs not only for peace, but for a kind of beauty that feels honest, not polished on the outside, but aligned on the inside. That's why the next step on this path is to gently examine how harmony, or the lack of it, is showing up in the 4 foundational areas of your life: your health, your work, your finances, and your heart. Let's begin with your health. You're someone who often carries emotional weight in silence. Libra prefers resolution over confrontation, calm over chaos, but bottling your feelings to avoid disruption slowly wears on your nervous system. You might feel tired but wired, calm on the outside but buzzing internally with unspoken tension. The truth is, when you suppress what needs expression, it doesn't disappear, it just finds other ways to surface, often through your body. That's why slowing down in the evening, sipping chamomile tea, lighting a candle, and spending even 5 minutes in quiet presence with yourself isn't just self-care, it's a form of realignment. It tells your body, I'm listening now. You're safe. Then comes your work, the domain where logic and passion meet. Recently, you may have sensed a misalignment, as if the path you once walked with clarity now feels foggy. That sense of being torn between staying or changing directions is not a flaw in your thinking, it's a sign that your inner compass is ready to recalibrate. And here, the law of attraction reminds us, clarity isn't given, it's created. When you write your intentions each morning with your hand, not a keyboard, you don't just plan, you declare. You align your energy with what you desire. You help the universe meet you halfway. And more than anything, you remind yourself what matters most when the noise gets too loud. In terms of finances, let's speak gently but honestly. Emotional spending may have crept in the little purchases that offer a brief sense of comfort or reward. There's no shame in it. You're human, and Libra deeply values aesthetic pleasure. But when spending begins to serve your feelings more than your future, it's time to pause. A simple practice like keeping a small coin in a glass jar of salt water by your bedside might sound symbolic, and it is, but that symbol speaks to your subconscious. This is the beginning of cleansing your relationship with abundance. You are not deprived. You are not lacking. You are learning to choose with more love and less impulse. And of course, we arrive at the heart, the realm where Libra shines, but also where you often compromise yourself for the sake of harmony. If you're in a relationship, it's time to ask, are you speaking from truth, or just preserving the peace? Love isn't supposed to be a quiet negotiation where one voice always fades. It's meant to be a place where both hearts can breathe. And if you're single, remember, true love doesn't require perfection. It doesn't wait for you to be finished healing before it arrives. It simply needs you to be honest about where you are. Stop hiding your heart behind the idea of being ready. You're already enough. Across all of this, body, work, money, and love, the quiet message is the same. It's not about doing more. It's about choosing differently. Making decisions from love, not fear. From intention, not avoidance. Even the most sacred texts remind us, peace is often the fruit of discipline, of gentle choices made again and again in the direction of your truth. So start there. With one small shift, one clear yes or no, one breath of self-trust. Harmony is not far, it's just waiting for you to meet it halfway. Sometimes, what unsettles us most isn't the loud disruptions in our lives, it's the quiet, lingering tension we can't quite name. For Libra, the sign of equilibrium and social grace, betrayal doesn't often arrive in shouts or dramatic exits. It arrives in smiles held too long, in compliments that land oddly, in moments where someone's silence feels heavier than their words. You know this feeling when someone's energy no longer aligns, but they say all the right things. That soft inner nudge, that whisper of unease? That's your intuition doing its job. And it's time to honor it. The Seven of Swords reveals itself here as a mirror, reflecting what's happening beneath the surface. It doesn't just speak of deception, it shows the subtle ways in which your trust is being worn down. Perhaps someone close to you has been saying things behind your back, creating narratives where your voice was never present. You may not have evidence, but you feel it in the moments you start second-guessing yourself, when your clarity turns foggy, when your once strong sense of direction becomes hesitant. It's not that you've changed. It's that something or someone around you is clouding the air, and that energy has started settling around your spirit. This isn't about blame. It's about boundaries. As someone who deeply values fairness, Libra often struggles with the idea of cutting ties. You want to understand others, give them the benefit of the doubt. But here's what no one tells you: boundaries are not about judging people, they're about protecting your peace. And peace, true peace, can't thrive in the company of emotional pretense. Sometimes, the most graceful act of all is quietly closing the door on what no longer feels genuine. You might notice certain signals showing up now more than ever. Thoughts that feel foreign. A sense of disconnection around someone familiar. Glances that feel more like surveillance than affection. These are not coincidences. Your nervous system is picking up on subtle cues your logic hasn't yet pieced together. You're not imagining it, you're sensing it. And this is the moment to trust that sense more than the words being spoken. A simple practice can help you reset that field. Place 4 pieces of cat's eye or small white stones at the 4 corners of your bed. This isn't superstition, it's symbolism, a way of reminding your energy field that you are protected, aware, and not open to deception. Each stone becomes a quiet witness, a guardian of your personal clarity. As you lay down to rest, speak softly but firmly to the space around you. I disconnect from anything untrue. I do not compromise with energy that pretends to care. These aren't just words. They're a contract with your own truth. A declaration that you will no longer sacrifice your stability for social peace. There's a gentle lesson here, one even echoed in sacred wisdom. What is done in darkness will always come to light, not to punish, but to purify. You don't need to chase answers or expose anyone. You simply need to stand in your knowing, with quiet confidence, and choose to no longer engage with what diminishes your worth. That's not cruelty. That's alignment. And when you step into that energy, not only do the masks around you fall, but your own radiance returns stronger, steadier, more certain than ever. You were never meant to carry the weight of other people's half-truths. You were meant to live in full honesty, full balance, and full peace. This is the moment you choose that, and you do it not with revenge, but with release. Not with noise, but with knowing. And in doing so, Libra, you restore what's always been yours, the grace of walking in truth, and the power of being fully, unapologetically clear. And here we are, dear Libra, at the end of this journey, yet perhaps also standing right at the beginning of something softer, clearer, and deeply yours. Maybe for the first time in a long while, you're beginning to feel the truth settle in your body, that you don't have to hold everything together for everyone else in order to be loved. That your peace doesn't have to come last. That balance, the kind you've been yearning for, doesn't require your silence or self-sacrifice, it simply asks for your presence. You see, the real stability you're craving isn't about making sure everything looks perfect or keeping the waters still at any cost. It's about making peace within. It's about choosing to protect your light even if that means stepping away from what dims it. And maybe, just maybe, you've outgrown the role of the peacemaker who never pauses to ask themselves, what do I actually need? So here's a gentle question for your soul tonight. What have you been holding on to, not because it serves you, but because it makes others comfortable? What have you been managing, fixing, carrying that no longer reflects who you are becoming? Libra, your heart has always been generous. But generosity that costs you your clarity is too high a price. And I hope after walking with me through this reading, you feel encouraged to let go, to not only cleanse your physical space, but your emotional boundaries, your energetic ties, and your silent expectations. Because your energy is sacred. And you deserve to feel supported, not drained. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the moment you decide that peace isn't something you keep building for others, it's something you finally build for yourself. Let this be the moment you allow your room, your body, and your spirit to breathe again without guilt, without apology. The steps we shared today are not just rituals or routines. They're invitations to listen deeper, to live slower, to let go with grace. Each one is a reminder that you are more powerful than you think, and more supported than you realize. But none of that matters if you don't take the first small action. Will you do it, Libra? Will you finally choose yourself, fully and unapologetically? Tell me in the comments, what is the one thing you are releasing today in order to reclaim your balance? What did this reading awaken in you, and what is one gentle promise you're making to yourself moving forward? And if this message stirred something in your soul, even something small, I invite you to honor that. Leave a like, subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and share this video with someone you love who might be silently yearning for their own reset. When you do, you help this community grow stronger and you help more hearts feel seen. Thank you for being here, for staying all the way to the end, and for trusting me to walk beside you today. Your presence truly means the world. And remember, the next chapter of your piece doesn't start when everything outside is calm. It starts the moment you decide that your inner harmony is worth choosing again and again. Now go and let your balance be the most radiant thing in the room.